Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again for my review on competitions out and about at the moment. We had a very successful video last week, or couple of weeks ago, talking about our beloved Compers News magazine. Well, the new one has dropped, the Christmas edition. So I thought I would get in there early, quickly, and review some of the promotions in here. For those of you that don't know, this is a magazine for compers that has articles about competitions, things that have gone wrong, great new idea competitions for people to enter, and actually has a list of many competitions and the mechanics behind them and what the prizes are and the time frames, so that people can go and buy the products if they need to buy a product, or just enter and win lots of prizes. So for those of you who don't know, that comping is huge. So you run a competition, there's reasons for that, and basically it's about incentivizing your customers, new customers, existing customers, and that's what we do here at Epic Activation, is run prize promotions for brands. So what I did last time, and I will do again, is pick out some promotions that have fallen below the required standard, that have then been brought to the attention of the editors at Compers News. And I don't look to drop brands in it because, you know, there's such minor details, and the brands have really gone out their way to run a promotion with the best will in the world to engage with consumers. So they haven't done any of these examples, haven't really been malicious at all. In fact, they haven't been malicious at all. They've just lacked a little bit of detail that has caused problems. So the idea of this video is just to go through those and just to emphasize some of the actions that you need to take, whether your agency or your brand directly, who are working with the legal team on what you should do and consider when running your next prize promotion. So let's crack on. Being the festive season, it's actually all about, these three are actually about alcohol brands, so which is appropriate, but actually one of them was during the summer, cocktails. Anyway, so we'll start off with a gin brand who in the summer were giving away a diamond. So that sounds great. I should have put an asterisk on the end of that, giving away a diamond. I needed to explain what type of diamond it was, because that's the basis of what this complaint was. So ultimately, it was a lab-grown diamond. Now, this is a massive learning curve because I never knew this. Lab-grown diamonds are still real diamonds, but they're just made differently in a lab. And from a pricing point of view, they are of lower value, not much lower value, to be fair. But if you're offering a prize and you say a diamond, you need to be very clear what type of diamond it is, because you're obviously, if it's more expensive than a lower grade diamond, which is the case here, then it's false advertising that you're offering something that's actually not the same price. So again, I think this was completely unintentional, because actually in the terms and conditions, it does say a lab grown diamond, but on the banner, on the collarette, on the gin, it didn't have an asterisk. So the asterisk, I believe, has caused the problem, because it says win a diamond with no association to the fact that it's a lab grown diamond. So there were complaints. I think the ASA thought it wasn't particularly serious, because there were the best intentions, and we are talking about an asterisk, and the brand have been told they need to put an asterisk on in future and make it a little clearer that if it's a lab, that if it's a different type of prize and it's not quite what you're saying on the headlines, on the collarette, then you need to link the two together. So little slap on the wrist for them, all for an asterisk. So please make sure your T's and C's are correct and got everything covered. I'm sure I'll say that a few times in this conversation. Second one complaint was for some cocktails, mini cocktails, another brand. And basically the circumstances around this, it was a bit confusing at the beginning, is their sales weren't that great in the summer. So they thought they would do some additional changes and extend the promotion further. So they said, great news, we're extending the promotion further, told everyone about it. Now, you're not actually allowed to extend a promotion further unless there's insinuating circumstances. And bad weather and bad sales isn't one of them. That's the problem. My concern here is that and I couldn't work it out at the beginning, the numbers. If they're extending it, then no one's missed out, until I saw it was a prize draw. So the fact that, say, 1,000 people entered between May and July, and it was a prize draw, you've got 1 in 1,000 chance of winning, say there was one prize. If that then extended out to August and you had a further 100 people, by the end of August, you've then got 1 in 1,100. So there is a disadvantage to those people who entered earlier. They claim there wasn't, but clearly there was. And I think the ASA took that quite seriously, that actually you can't just do that, because you've disadvantaged those and people bought the product, and you've disadvantaged them by taking an action that you thought was for good reasons. So you have to think very carefully before you extend a promotion from that point of view. And the final one is actually for a tequila brand. Now, again, I don't name names, but I do love this tequila, one of my favorites. And this actually was not really about the promotion, it was about the handling of it. There was first top tier prizes and second tier prizes, and people weren't shouting about the second tier prizes. So they got in touch to say, well, can we have a list of the winners? Now, this has to be done. The list of winners has to be available to consumers. Not a full list of their name, address, age, and everything else, because obviously GDPR. So there's certain laws about what information, and it might be their first name and their area that you live in, but at least it's a list. It seems to me that, and I don't know who the agency is, and I'm not naming the brand, so I'm going to talk about it. The agency didn't get on to publishing those second tier winners, and it was delayed. And for me, I don't really, there may be a perfectly good reason behind it, but unfortunately it's made the magazine and it looks bad on the brand. And I don't quite understand why the list wasn't made available. All these things need to be considered, and if it's requested, it needs to have easy access so you can release what you need to prove that you are compliant in the promotion. So with all three of these, there seems to be nothing major. The biggest one for me was the cocktail ones with extending the date, but again, it was in good nature. So please speak to your legals and make sure they are a legal team who understand prize promotions, not just any general legal team. And they will hopefully put you on the straight and narrow to a successful promotion where everyone is happy, brand, client, and agency if you have one. Thanks very much. Any questions, please do feel free to get in touch with me, and I will be happy to answer them. Take care. Bye.